Quick Tip Tuesday this week, we're going to look at 3 core velocity belt drills that we like to use as foundational movements for most of our guys. This is something that we will use and focus on more as guys are on-ramping, working a lot more on movement patterns and low intensity throwing, as opposed to spending more time in the high intensity phase where guys are just moving fast. So we're kind of revamping maybe some mechanics or just looking to improve 1 or 2 things. But these are the 3 foundational movements that we like a lot, and we really like the core velocity belt to help guys feel these and use it as a constraint instead of trying to just cue and cue verbally. So first one, we have the belt hooked up. You can use a heavy kettlebell or some type of stand behind you. We have it off of the back hip, so I'm right-handed. It's right off of my right hip, and it's pulling me directly back and maybe a little bit towards home plate as well. So the idea here is from this position that as I pick my front foot up and start to move down the mound, the belt pulls my hip back and gets me into a good hinge position. So we talk about riding slope, something that Lance Wheeler talks about a lot of other guys, Ben Brewster too. And the idea that I really like, it's not as much as like a jump or a push off the mound, it's getting in this hinge position and then feeling your body almost drift down the mound in that manner. And it allows for better sequencing instead of trying to jump and throwing off the connect sequencing between specifically like hip and shoulder separation. So getting in this position, we're just going to lift up and we're going to let the band pull us in the position. So I'm just going to lift the leg up a little bit, band should pull me back, and I'm going to feel my butt drift down the mound in that position. So as I'm doing this, I'm just feeling like I'm right-handed, so my left pocket of my butt cheek is aimed at the target, and that's what's going down. I'm keeping my head more over my back leg and just relaxing, basically relaxing down the mouth of my body. So you can see that my hips are staying closed as I do that, and I'm getting this good hinge motion. The second position we're going to do is we're going to go band or core velocity belt resisted. So move to the exact opposite side. So now I have to rotate against the band. So instead of the band helping me, it is hurting me in this position, and I have to physically feel myself sit back into that position and get in that position each time. I like in any exercise going from band assisted, the band's helping you, when we're talking about movement patterns and feeling certain positions. So go from the band helping you to the band hurting you in this position, so doing the exact opposite. So from here, I'm going to be able to sit back. I can even pause here if I want to because that's pulling me forward. Feel that same hip pocket going towards the target, head over the back leg, and just feeling, you can kind of do a motion with your arm to feel more of the sequencing pattern that you should be going through. But you're feeling the same idea of loading that back hip, good hinge from this position, and then riding the slope from that position. We usually do about 10 reps. It really doesn't matter, 10 to 15 reps, just trying to feel some things out here. So again, this should help you. This is now making your body fight against resistance instead of pulling you there. So it's almost like a strength exercise, so to speak, but it's better for helping your body get there because we're actually having to move against some resistance. The last one we do is more of a rotational and separation drill. So we're going to move it out in front. How far you go distance-wise and how much across just depends on how much you want to work with. I'm going to pulling across my bicep here because we're going to work on some hip rotation. I'm going to get into like a landing position. So if I'm going through my motion, go here, it's kind of where I land in this position. Your arm should be somewhere up, and as we turn, your hand's probably going to be more like flipping up. I like to have my hand do that because I feel like it helps me keep my shoulders closed while we do this and not just rotate with my hips, and I can feel that scap load or horizontal shoulder abduction if you want to be scientific about it. So I'm going to get in that landing position, land here. I'm going to have my arm up. Now I'm going to twist my hips and drive into the lead leg block here through hip rotation while keeping my upper body closed. So I'm here, and rotating, feeling like I'm getting onto the ball of my foot with the big toe. I feel like I'm turning my hips as much as I can. Big thing here is keeping this shoulder closed. That's why I have my hand out. Might not be exactly where you are as you go through your pitching motion, but again, I stay more closed if I have my hand up here so I can feel that more. And you can see I have trouble getting into full lead leg block in that position, but I'm not just doing this where my shoulders and my hips are moving together, moving like a block. So very important to start moving very slow here. If you try to go fast and make it too explosive to begin with, we're going to be opening our entire body. We're not trying to do that. It's not meant to be fast. It's a feel drill. So we're just here and we're feeling the hips rotate as we go forward and feeling that front leg getting the lead leg block as we're holding the upper body close. So again, like I said, with this drill, we want all three of those drills to be done in a slow, controlled manner. We're trying to get into certain positions and teach our body to feel getting into those positions, getting out of those positions, and feelings like riding the slopes or the hip-shoulder separation. So again, these are three basic movement patterns that we want to see all of our guys do in some capacity during their throwing motion. It is a little bit of cookie cutter drill, but again, because they're foundational movements, most everyone, 99% of guys, get into these positions when they're throwing if they're a good thrower of the baseball. So we work on that some, again, building up on the on-ramping. As we get going into more and more high intensity, we might do less of them, but it's a really good feel thing. You can do it without throwing, you can do it on your lower intensity days. You can do it 12 months a year, whatever helps you the most. And again, we just want to help that sequencing and help that feeling of riding the slope.